I would like to now introduce you to our guest speaker. A former junior herself, Mrs. Ann Dillon has done a number of things. She has been Honorary State Regent of Colorado. She is the past Registrar General, the National Chairman of Chapter Development and Revitalization Committee, and Mrs. Dillon has also attended Texas Tech University. She has 2 wonderful daughters, 6 grandchildren, and is married to her wonderful husband, Bill. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Ann Dillon.
Thank you, Ashley. It's a privilege to be with you this morning. What a rare opportunity to speak to a junior club. That's just really a treat because I certainly think you are the future of the organization. And I'm inspired by the enthusiasm, the different way of looking at things, and I'm glad to hear you make such light of we have always done it that way, and we've never done it that way. I think those are some terms I hope we can let drop from our vocabulary. Did everyone have a second cup of coffee, and are you now awake after that exciting basketball game last night? I have to confess I did not stay up to watch it. Colorado University did not get named to the final group, and so there was great consternation in Colorado and cries of foul. So hopefully you will see us in the tournament next year. Someone sent me a series, you know how you get things on an email. Someone sent me a series of dumb things that people do, and I have to admit that they made me feel so much better that I want to share them with you. Because I have never done any of these things, so see if you have. I've done plenty of others, but not these specifically. The first one, I went to the bank to take out $400 for a trip, and as I handed the teller the withdrawal slip, I asked for large bills. Her response, "I'm sorry, all our bills are the same size." Then there was the individual who plugged her power strip back into itself and then couldn't understand why her computer wouldn't turn on. And I think this one is my favorite. My husband and I arrived at an automobile dealership to pick up our car, and we were told that the keys had accidentally been locked into it. So we went back to the service department, and we found a mechanic working feverishly on the driver's side door to jimmy the lock, get the lock undone. As I watched from the passenger's side, I just instinctively reached and pulled at the handle, and my surprise, it opened. It was unlocked, and I said to the technician, "Hey, this side's unlocked. It's open." And his reply, "I know. I've already gotten that side." Now, don't you feel much better? I meet a lot of juniors as I travel, and so I appreciate their enthusiasm and their energy and their camaraderie, especially the camaraderie and the friendship, because quite honestly, I think that's what the DAR is all about. I value how you make state conference and Continental Congress work so much smoother. And just a couple of stories. I never shall forget being in a processional during Congress. And as I turned a corner from the center aisle to go towards the stairs leading up to the platform, it was as if the entire processional had disappeared. The military band continued to play the Sousa March, and I was just marching along and inspired by the music and the pomp and the ceremony. And then I turned the corner and the bottom dropped out. It was like everyone disappeared. And so I didn't know quite what to do, so I stopped right in my tracks and looked around for a page. And I hadn't been there very long before this trustworthy lady in white came out and said, "Ma'am, if you would just sit in the audience." There was everyone else. I felt a little dumb at that one. Pages have saved my backside more than once, and they make me appear to know what I'm doing even when I don't. And then there was a time when I was in Texas, and I was trying to get to the elevator doors, and there was just a crowd of people, and I couldn't get through, couldn't get to the elevator. And so here comes a page who graciously escorted me through the proud, took me to a freight elevator, went with me to my room, accompanied me back to the meeting. And so thank you, Pages, for all you do and how you make such a difference to the work that we do. Thank you very much. You hold a unique place in the heart of the DAR. Remember that you may hold any office, chapter, state, and national. When I was a state regent, Arizona had a junior who was their state regent. So I'm often disappointed when I see states with the attitude that because a woman is a junior member, she has lots of time to move up. And so they don't necessarily give her job positions that are responsible that she probably could handle. That's a mistake on the part of leadership. And then on the other side, I have seen young women who diligently work to achieve a goal, perhaps outstanding junior, and then they never transition to the ranks of senior leadership. So state leaders need to give juniors the opportunity to serve in responsible positions, and juniors need to continue to use the skills and the dedication that they have learned through their years as a junior. Sometimes DAR members will be very impressed with this rack of pins that are on my left shoulder that cause me to walk like this. And my standard comment is not to be impressed, I've just never learned how to say no. People ask me, how do you get ahead in the DAR? And I'm not really sure that I know the answer to that. I joined the DAR as a junior member because two of my friends did the genealogy for me and prepared the application and encouraged me to join. How many of you can say that same thing? Yeah, several of them. It's our friends that get us in with this. I was the first in my family to belong, and at the time I had a young family, a busy life, and all of the other things that are common to women your age. My friends encouraged me to attend state conference, and I did, but somehow I didn't feel as if I fit in. They already had their established friendships, and I didn't really fit with their groups. So I didn't do very much as a junior. Finally, I did take a committee chairmanship in my chapter, and then I was asked to be the recording secretary. Well, as you know, when you're recording secretary, you have to attend the meetings. So as I did, I began to get more and more acquainted and did develop friendships. And then finally I was asked to be the vice regent and then the chapter regent. And that involved me in state activities, and my circle of friends increased. And then at the state level, I was asked to be the organizing secretary, then the state vice regent, and the state regent, and then as you know, your circle of friends expand because the state regent attends all the national meetings. And so I just became more and more involved just because I never said no. Mrs. Kemper was installed as President General when I was installed as state regent. And the first meeting that she held of the National Board of Management after her installation was 3 hours long. It was in the Connecticut boardroom. If you've ever been in there, it's very small and confining. All the new state regents, all the new vice presidents general, and the new executive officers were in there. I was incredibly intimidated. So I went back to the hotel and called the previous state regent and said, I don't belong here, I don't fit in here, I'm going to resign. And her response was, what's your room number? I'll be right there. So obviously she did talk me into staying the course, and the rest is history. So how do you move up in the DAR? Well, number one, you do a good job at whatever you do, and you say yes whenever you're asked to do something new. Don't let people more knowledgeable or experienced intimidate you. Don't be embarrassed to ask questions, and continue, most importantly, to make friends. Remember that everyone else is just as nervous as you are, no matter how they appear. Women also want to know how to become a national chairman or a division vice chairman. A newly elected slate of executive officers appoints over 350 national chairmen, vice chairmen, and about 100 congressional and standing committee appointments, and they name another 100 or so to special committees and administrative committees. That's over 500 women that are asked to serve the National Society with the change of every administration. So the opportunities are there. You'll be noticed for doing good work and cooperating with other members. Ask your state regent for a recommendation to serve on a congressional committee, perhaps. Begin to get acquainted. Volunteer to work on a campaign committee to to help a new president general get elected. Remember that a new president general will begin her campaign 2 years prior to an election year. So Mrs. Wright leaves office in 2003. So sometimes after this next Congress, another campaign will be starting to form. Linda Clausen was the national campaign chairman for the Watkins Associates, and so Linda has a lot of experience. If you want to know something about serving on a campaign, ask her. She can give you a lot of good advice. And then another question I have been asked is, how are national officers selected? It beats me. I don't know. I do know a few factors that go into the selection of executive officers. A woman decides that she wants to serve the society as a president general, usually with encouragement from other people. And then she begins to watch women on the National Board of Management to see which ones are good at what they do, which women stand out and seem to be leaders. And then there are other factors that go into her decision, such as the size of the state where she's been elected to serve. That's especially true when there's more than one candidate for President General, because you want all the votes you can get. So you want someone from the big state on your slate of officers. But that's not always the determining factor. A lot of times the professional experience makes a difference. Sometimes it's really hard to find someone that has experience with a museum or experience as a treasurer. So that can make a difference as well. Vice President's general classes are also scrutinized, and usually several women are asked to be executive officers from their ranks. Your execs, probably the most important thing is which women are going to work well with other members of the executive committee, because they work very closely together for 3 years. They serve at their own expense, and they hammer out a multitude of conflicts that most of us can only imagine. So, as advice, unsolicited, I know, but whatever you do, do it well, get along with others, be kind and friendly, and don't let ambition keep you from seeing what really matters. Remember that you have to deal with the same people coming down a ladder as you do going up. So it's really people and relationships that have eternal significance, not the positions that you hold. Remember to laugh and have fun and form friendships, and never fail to say yes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dillon. As a little gratitude of our appreciation for speaking,